questions? Oh, Photoshop just froze.
Great, man.
You have a question, friend?
I have a question.
Go for it.
So, how do you continue like staying motivated and keep drawing like after like this class is over? Because I know with the class, like it keeps you accountable and gives you deadlines and stuff like that.
Yeah. Um, that's what the Discord is for, is to help with that. We have the daily 2D, daily 3D, and the goal is to keep you guys accountable with one another. Oh, you know what I was going to do? I was going to do something else. Because a lot of times when you're just working from home or what have you, or not from home, but if you're just working for yourself, you end up with the situation where, like you're just saying, where it's just a little bit hard to keep yourself accountable, right? But if you go online and you hang out with people on like Discord, or you just go to like like what I used to do, because we didn't have stuff like Discord, I'd like physically just go to the school that I was attending and just sit in classes with my friends, and we would just paint and draw every day. Every single day. We would just sit down and just draw and just talk to each other and hang out, have fun, and then I'll look at what they were doing and we'll give each other feedback. It was nice, and I try to simulate that because a lot of my students are international, so it's like it's a little different. But for instance, if you look right here, you see Billionaire, Boris, and Timmy. Um, they've been in this working folder or this working voice channel since the beginning of this class. You can see right here, Hermes today also sent out a Google Hangout. If you see, like, people post feedback often, you know, and they give each other feedback and each other notes, right?
Yeah.
And they just keep each other accountable. People are posting in the daily 2D, regardless if it's good or not, just to keep themselves accountable.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I posted in the daily 3D, for instance, yesterday. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I built this because of that. And there's a consistent flow of people. There's usually about 130, oh, see, now there's 130 people now. It's about 100 to 130 people online at any given time. The general chat is usually popping too, people just talking, hanging out. So if you're, like, if you're not able to keep yourself accountable, you know, there's things, you know, there's work in progresses, there's mock projects, there's study groups, you know? Pick your poison. You know, what do you want to get done? And it goes along with like what I always talk about, which is it's not so much about or maybe it's screen. Hold on. Just give me a second. Okay. It's not so much about staying motivated, because I always talk about that. Motivation is very fickle, right? And what you want to do instead of focusing on motivation is you want to focus in on consistency. You know, if you're consistent, then you'll constantly be working towards your goals. Make sense? And if you're worried about like, oh, I don't feel like doing anything today, the daily 2D is built just for that purpose. Like, just post something even if you don't like it, just so you know you've done something today. Yeah. Because the fact is, as long as you're doing something, you're improving. And if you miss a day or you skip a day or whatever, it's okay. Just try to stay on it and just be accountable to yourself. But if you have like a thing where you have people hang out and do stuff, that like, get to it. One thing that I'm going to try to start doing, I already pitched it in general, but I just never got around to it, which is doing more workshops.
Oh,
Um, and so that way people can come and learn, and I can give out like tasks and challenges uh, that way. You know what I mean?
no, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I actually need to get back to making challenges. I used to do challenges, and people were really into that. I need to do it again. But anyhow, hopefully that gives you some insight.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And to Gabriel, I read what you said. No, this is not from Java's class. This is actually from me. You have to understand that I was not one of the first people to do 360 paintings, by the way, or Java's workshop. I'm sorry. His workshop's different. His is like based off of 3D code, which is insane. I messed with it the other day, and it's really intense. It's really cool. This is just me painting on my grid that I made a long time ago. And then me and Jama, I'll see you later, Fee. Me and Jama just like kind of spearheaded the whole 360 painting stuff, you know? And then he was just in love with it. So he just kept going. I stopped, but he kept going. And then he discovered that he could do it in 3D Coat. And that's what he's been doing recently. And 3D Coat, I tried it too the other day. 3D Coat, 3D painting is insane.
You should make a Gumroad about 360 painting.
I mean, just watch Jama's, but I can make. I think he has one in Photoshop too. He did one for Photoshop, and I think it was
Yeah.
mostly based off of what I showed him. But he took that, like I said, he took that to the next level, and he did a one outside of Photoshop in 3D Cloud, which is amazing. I can show you guys a little bit of what that is. But yeah, it's really cool because what Jama did, basically, here I'll just show you. It's good too, especially if you're like trying to design like an interior. It's like perfect for that. But I think it's actually still easier to do in Photoshop 3D60 painting because the warp is not as bad. Okay, open this.
That becomes really useful when you have all the symmetry turned on.
Yeah.
For architectural stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like it makes sense for three. It makes sense for what you call it. Yeah, like interiors and stuff like this. So all right. Oh, here, let me make a new layer. Delete that. Yeah, so you could paint in 360. See that? Actually, you know what? I want to go ahead and try this. Okay. Did I crash it? So basically, what you're doing. Well, basically, what you're doing is painting on the inside of a sphere. Make sense?
Yeah.
In fact, I could probably do it from here. This will be fun. Let's just do it here.
Awesome.
I'm already started. I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it.
The round brush is so nice as well in 3D code.
Well, the round brush is similar to the Photoshop
Mhm.
brush.
Yeah.
They did that deliberately. 3D Coat deliberately is trying to make. That's why I'm trying to do more 3D Coat than I am at anything else. Because if you are a native in Photoshop,
Yeah, it's really intuitive.
then 3D Coat becomes really intuitive, especially the painting room. But here's the thing that people. I think he's putting out a video soon about this. But like he was showing me a little bit, I was like, Jama, this is like basic 3D Coat stuff. And he's like, I know, and nobody knows. I'm like, only the 3D Coat painters know that this is like. But it's just like he's just so inventive that he just thought about doing this, and then it's just like it's like master. And I'm like, of course, this makes perfect sense. So if you just get his tutorial, you'll have the template for everything you need to do for the 3D Coat.
Yeah, the first one he made was the one more focused on Photoshop, and that's the one that I got. The second one, which we released, was the 3D code one.
Yeah.
But moving the camera inside Photoshop, like that's the part that's really RAM intensive, right?
Yeah,
Besides
so doing it in
frame.
3D Code is better because 3D Code is a 3D engine. It's built
Mhm.
around 3D, so it makes perfect sense. You can see like right now it's like seamless.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that he was like I think he's doing in his next video that I was telling him is like just basic stuff, which is where you can go here and you can take it to an external renderer, right? And you're like, what does that mean? It means this. I took it to an external renderer, meaning Photoshop.
Mhm.
So now I'm in Photoshop, right? So now I'm actually in my native lands, and I can use all my brushes and I can do all my stuff. And by the way, you can import all your brushes into 3D Coat too. They take
Yeah,
ABR.
so
They take ABR brushes.
I did not know that. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Some basic shit, man. That's basic 3D Coat. Like
Mhm.
if you work on hand painted textures, all this stuff you'd already know. Like hand painted texture, people already know this stuff. But here's the catch: is like I can flip it and do all that stuff and make these changes and then make sure to flip it back, right? Um,
I think you made a video about this. You were painting this blue dude in 3D code,
mhm,
and then you switched it to Photoshop to blend it a little bit, and then switch it back.
mhm. Yeah, my friend who works in 3D Code all the time as a texture painter, she showed it to me, and I was like, "This is
It's
amazing."
insane.
And and so anyway, so I can go in here and do my thing, and then flip it back and press Control S. That's all you need to do, and then you go back to 3D Code, and then bam. So it's cool because then I can go over here and be like, okay, what if I make another character just chilling? Yes, master. Yes. And I believe all you have to do then is just export the texture. Export for Steam Workshop? What is that about? I believe you can just go to textures actually and export it straight out here. Export color albedo map. Let's just do it to my desktop for ease of access. Test. And it should just be right here. And let's open it into this one. And it should fit perfectly on,
Oh.
you see what I'm saying? It should.
Mhm.
Seems like it's cropped a little. Yeah, seems like it's cropped a little. So let's just do this. Let's just make a new file. Let's not even make this mistake. Or actually, I'll just open it. So in theory, right? Check it out. So in theory, okay, there you go. You can paint from this, right? Obviously. Okay.
So would you do your final touch-ups there then?
No, I mean, I'm just saying, in theory, you can go, like, you could have this file open.
Mhm.
Start painting, you know, what have you, right? Save this out under Targa. And yes, of course, you could do your fun touches like you suggested, but it's not just about that. It's about like the best possible solution. So you can import this back in. And so then it's made those changes. That's my point. My point is I can go back and forth. Like I can paint, export, import, paint in Photoshop. You know, if I feel like I need to get the macro solutions done, right? For instance, this is the macro. Like this is what I would imagine the thumbnail stage. So like what I can do is like in 3D Coat, just kind of figure out the parameters of how I want this to be viewed. You understand? Like I can lay out here. Like I can just draw the skeleton of the character here. That makes sense. Where I think the ground plane should be or something. Right? I want the ground plane over here. So this guy's a mistake. You're a mistake. And then make this guy a little bit taller. Like, rrr. Yeah, maybe he had like children or something next to him. That'd be cool. And then just set the ground. You know? And then basically export again, the color Almedo. That's what you're exporting, by the way. And by the way, just to make it's already done hand paint. Nice. Jama already made that adjustment. Good job, Jama. And then go back to test, hit yes, right? You can minimize Photoshop. I don't think Photoshop has a re-import or update. They must. They must have something like that. I mean, it's not too difficult to just reopen it, but I wish there was just like I wonder if there is. I actually never had to worry about this in Photoshop, so I don't really care. I think as a smart object is the solution, actually, if I had to think about it. It's all right. We'll just reopen it. It's no big deal. Yeah, okay, there you go. Right? So now I have my layout, pretty much, of the characters.
Nice.
You know, and it looks like there's more space over here, so then I can kind of there you go.
It's also a really cool process to show like concepts in a VR space with clients.
Yes, absolutely. Or just a cool concept to just show concepts. It's
Yeah.
like, it's really cool just in general, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But now I have like a really good layout and I can trust this. And what I've done too, as you may have saw, I made an offset. So then I can basically keep
Yes.
turning them so if I want to make sure I'm painting them, and I can basically 360 it. And so, um, I'll see the resolution though, super low. It's fine. It probably makes sense for the 3D aspect of it. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and paint this now and try to make something out of this. Any other questions as I'm painting this? The type of places where I think this would be really useful is, like I said before, like interiors. Like if you're trying to design the interior of like a space station or like a vehicle, like this is like perfect. For me, kind of the game that I'm developing, this kind of makes sense too. I'm designing the way that I imagine the player sees the environment. So this is like, it's like a good way for game design, especially for environment artists, because then you're designing a viewpoint that allows players to kind of get a good sense, or like the designers to get a good sense of where your headspace is at.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago you showed, that was when I took my first mentorship with you, you showed us some horror creatures that you were doing for the Oculus. And
Yeah.
those looked really intense, and it was a super great idea because it's like you're seeing the monster. It's really immersive.
Yes, sir. I just doubled the resolution because I want to get that resolution. Yeah, and I'm getting back into it, like Unreal again. I'm not sure if you saw some of the videos recently.
Yeah.
Unreal is super intuitive. It's a weird intuitive too. It's the kind of intuitive that all the information's there for you to learn, but it's kind of what's the word? It's actually the best way I can describe it is like it's not intuitive entirely at first. Some things, most things are, right?
Hmm.
But the things that are not as intuitive at first glance, you're just like, man, what the fuck? And you just keep kind of like trying to figure it out. But once you find it out, like once you figure out what it is, like why it works the way it works, you're like, oh, duh. Like Unreal's like that a lot. Like there's like a lot of moments that I had where I'm just like, this is fucking garbage. I don't get any of this. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I see. Oh, because if I do that, then this makes more sense. And then that, and I'm like, oh, I see why they made it this way. So they're not stupid developers. They totally know what they're doing. You know, like there's a lot of times where I use products and I'm just like, why? Why did you do this? Don't you get that that's like a waste of everybody's time? Like they have to go through all these loops, these hoops to make this happen. And that's I feel that with a lot of softwares. Photoshop, I don't. I think Photoshop is pretty like it is unmatched. There's pretty much nothing other than some certain features that I still want them to have, like mirroring mode. Like that would be really nice. Like they
Oh,
still don't have it after the decades of being around. Yeah, so ZBrush is a good example of like a software. I'm just like what in the fuck? Like why you have this weird system, you know? And like I still feel that way. Like, and that's how you know it's kind of archaic. And for instance, in 3D Coat, the things that I just kind of just got used to because ZBrush was the really only good 3D sculpting software that is out there, right? Mudbox is pretty good, but I mean, you know, ZBrush was standard. But ZBrush to me never felt like Photoshop. Like Photoshop is standard, and it makes sense why it's standard. You get it? Like I understand why Photoshop is the standard in the industry. There is no
hmm.
confusion to me why that's true. Some people don't like Photoshop, but those are minority. That's a minority. Most people get it, you know. But there's some people that don't, and they use other stuff like Clip Studio Paint, which I heard is really good. You know, software that is just built for painting. You know, Autodesk Sketchbook Pro starting to get there. You know, I get it.
Hmm.
But like Photoshop, in terms of processing power for painting, it's just like unmatched. And there's no other software that comes close. And it's just it is intuitive in a lot of senses, right? And it's super like when you master the hotkeys, it's like better than anything else. But then like with ZBrush, I never felt that, and I still don't feel that way. I know some people have really mastered the tool, but I feel like they mastered it in a way that is like they just kind of settled and they just found all the loopholes. Make sense? And that's how I felt like for a while. And I was like, it's fine. You know, ZBrush is dope. I'm going to keep using it. And I started using 3D Coat, and then I was just like, what in the world is ZBrush doing? Like, why don't they have a proper layering system? Like actual layers and folders and file management. Like that is like something that I didn't really pay attention to as much until I started messing with 3D Coat, and 3D Coat has a very intuitive file management system. Well, it's standard. It has like things where you can drop things into other things that are parented to other things. Has a very intuitive material painting system and material application. Like if you want to put like a different material on a character, it just works, right? Like with ZBrush, it's the whole thing. If you want to change material, like if you want the material of the head to be different from the body, you have to do a whole bunch of different things just to make that happen. And before I just was okay with that because I was just ZBrush is the only tool out there that was there. And that's what I was talking earlier to Euros is that I'm starting to just work towards not even using ZBrush at all. You know, not because I don't think it's a bad, not because I think it's bad software. It's just uh, I think I can just get away with everything in ZBrush, or I'm sorry, in 3D Coat. I don't think I need a ZBrush anymore. I think I can do everything that I want in 3D Coat, including organic sculpting. I was doing mostly organic sculpting in ZBrush, and I still think it's better in a lot of ways than 3D Coat, but I'd rather just deal with 3D Coat, you know, because of all the other great things about it, right? And just truly just become a 3D Coat master. Especially
Yeah,
since I'm making my own assets, like it's becoming more and more clear to me I should just master this tool and just stop using ZBrush as like as a standard. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that the hotkeys themselves as well, like panning and stuff like that in ZBrush is different from 3D Code, and of course it's different also from
Yeah,
Photoshop. So
I remember.
jumping from software to software is really uncomfortable.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's just a thing you're gonna have to get used to anyway as a
Hmm.
3D dude, and until 3D softwares catch up. I don't think that it's there yet. I think give it another 5 years, and then there might be just the one-stop shop
Yeah.
like 3D package that might not be 3D Core or ZBrush, or it might be one of them. But my point is that yeah, it's just like what I was laughing about at the latest ZBrush Summit was when they showed we have a gizmo now in the next patch. And a gizmo, for those of you who aren't sure what that means, it's just like the thing that lets you like transform things easier in 3D, like moving things in X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z axis, scaling it on X, Y, Z. It's like every 3D software has this gizmo, right? ZBrush does not. And it's like, but you guys are like a 3D package. And so when they announced it, people were like, wow, yeah. 3D Coat's been having it for years. You know, it's just a standard 3D thing. I think Mudbox even had one. It's just for whatever reason. That to me is akin to if Photoshop had that mirroring tool. It's like
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
it's like everyone already has one, motherfucker. It's like you guys are just catching up. It's not. But if they were just like new innovation, you know, mirroring painting. But see, you have to understand the problem with Photoshop in that regards, in terms of like customer utilization, is that people who use Photoshop are mostly photographers and like
Right.
YouTubers and
Yep.
like like people that just Photoshop. Like they don't paint, they just Photoshop. you know, and so Photoshop spends a lot of their effort appeasing that audience more than anyone else. And you guys have to just respect that we're not that audience. So
Hmm.
even though they do try to make the painting tools better and stuff like that, don't get me wrong. Like they're not like absentmindedly like, nope, not helping anybody other than just like YouTubers. No, they understand that we exist. They just don't care as much as you would want them to. That's why like other companies like Clip Studio Paint might catch up, or if not surpass them eventually, because of because Studio Paint doesn't have any like their client is us, you know, so they're going to find ways to make us leave Photoshop.
Yeah. And on mobile, you have apps like Procreate, and those are so good.
They are. I was thinking about it
Those are
today.
really intuitive.
I'm saving up money, and I was thinking about getting a new computer because I'm getting back into 3D more. But I was thinking maybe I should just save and save and save. But maybe I should look into getting a like a tablet, like a portable device that I can use. So I'm looking at the Surface. I was looking at the Apple Pen. It works really well, but I'm thinking I'll just wait till like the next Surface. I'm sure they'll catch up.
Yeah.
Because now that the Apple Pen is out there and they have it in their hands and they can test it, they can now kind of try to compete against it. And I think this next round of Surfaces are going to be good because Surface in itself is like almost like a PC.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. I'll just invest in these expensive tablets.
Yeah, they are very expensive. I have an iPad Pro, but I feel the same way. I feel if there's more competition and everybody's improving their product, that's what should be happening.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? I'll throw this back into 3D Cut. Well, Natalie's taking a nap, so we know that much. But I'm not sure why everyone else.
Is there any way to like pose character in 3D code, or like the not there are like two models before you start the file. So one you can pose, another
Mhm.
one you cannot. I think, yeah.
Yeah, you could
That's
pose the other one too. They have very similar posing tools that ZBrush has, so you
yeah.
can totally do it. It's totally possible. What I've been doing is been using Mixamo to rig my character, especially if they're bipedal, and then I
Yeah.
can just animate them through their same software. But then they give you a rigged character, and you can take that rigged character to, let's say, Blender, and just learn some basic Blender tools, and then you can just you can move your character however you want.
Yeah.
But you can also pose them in the actual software, you know, which is probably more ideal if you're just trying to get like a JPEG, like a screenshot of like a character and you want to paint over. For instance, like Milan does a lot of that, right? Like one of my students, he'll like ZBrush and then he'll pose it in ZBrush and then he'll paint over it, make like a really cool looking painting.
Yeah.
All right, so let us see. And I don't believe 3D Code has a refresh thing. Yeah, I think you just have to, maybe they do. I don't know. I have to look into that too. If any software might have an update system, this definitely would have one. Yeah, we're gonna import that color back in, or this layer back in. And then it should be, yeah. Yep. Yep. There's like these holes. I wonder if that's just a product of, lag. Yeah, there's just like little specks of light. It's fine. I'm not too distracted by them. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna stick with Photoshop to finish this out. But it's cool to like just get that layout like right away. It makes it so much easier. Yeah, let me go back to Photoshop. Any other questions? Still got like 20 minutes left.
One.
What?
So I'm like a forum moderator at a QBrush, but like QBrush is
cool.
like such a dead community though.
Oh,
Like,
fortunate.
you know how you were a judge for the art award that recently went down?
Yeah, man.
Like that was the first time in history where QBrush was just like crazy with people, and then afterwards, like people just like never showed up again.
Yeah, sure.
So like, what could QBrush do to like kind of keep up the momentum, I guess? 'Cause it's like very dead right now.
So forums work the best when you have an active community, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So if you go online and you go to successful forums, Polycount. Have you ever been to Polycount?
Yeah.
So what are they doing? Because they're super active.
Hmm.
Right? Why is Polycount so active, so lively, and everything else that I can't think of any other forum that's just as good.
Yeah. Polycount's probably the biggest one right now.
So what are they doing? Well, maybe it's because they're like kind of like ArtStation, right? Like on the front page, you can just see tons of just new stuff often,
Hmm.
right? And they just probably have tons and tons of people too on here. So it's just like a combination of um, high number of people involved, and then
Yeah.
also it's just really what's the word? Yeah, just like a high number of people involved, but it's also really easy to kind of find things. Patreon?
Hmm.
Do you have a Patreon?
Oh.
I'm setting this page up to help fund Polycount.
Oh.
So that's another thing, right? Like you have to have someone that's just devoted. I believe Andrew is just all about it. Like he's in there all the time, constantly
Yeah.
active. So someone like Mark Brene, like he has a lot of different things he's working on, right?
Yeah.
And Mark is like on top of all the different stuff. Me and him talk often, and he's a good friend of mine. So he's busy. And so, I tried to make a forum. I had a Robotpencil forum. It was pretty good for a little bit. But then also same thing happened. It just died out, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's because, one, I wasn't actively there myself. Like it was hard for me to just be there often.
Hmm.
But if I was there often, it would work out.
Yeah.
But I was like, I do believe in the community. So we tried Facebook. Facebook worked way better. Facebook, even to this day, is still active. A lot of people still kind of go there and talk to each other. But a lot of them changed because we made the Discord.
Yeah.
See, the thing is that what you want to do is you want to make a community that is easily accessible in terms of people can, once they put something out, they get feedback like instantly.
Yeah.
And with forums is that most people aren't just living on forums.
Hmm.
But with Discord, especially now, people live on the Discord,
Hmm.
And so people are constantly talking to each other and messaging each other. I'm working on this project with my boss, and he's making this game or making more advancements to this game called Osiris New Dawn, and I'm helping art direct it.
Hmm.
But I told him, I was like, you guys need to make a Discord. Like, just make a Discord. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. Right? And I'm like, nah, dude, like, seriously, make a Discord and get the people involved in the Discord. I promise you're going to see a huge change in user activity using Discord. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, dude, trust me. And, we haven't done it yet, but like we've told the publisher and they're like, okay, we'll set it up. And so now they're setting it up. And so we're going to see how it goes, but I have high hopes. But let me talk about why the Discord works. Just even for the art community, it's because, you post something, there's people there, people hanging out. You can see who's online too. You can direct message them. It's just so intuitive. It's basically just like another social platform like Facebook or Twitter or whatever, right? But you can talk to the people like almost instantaneously. It's like a live conversation,
Yeah.
And I think forums are an old model. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And it was a model that worked when people didn't have access to information as much, right? Like you had to find like stuff like conceptart.org or Polycount or any of these sub-sites like CG Society to have access to the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
now you have access to the community through Facebook, through Instagram, Twitter. Now Reddit exists, and then Reddit's like also a great platform.
Yeah.
So I would say you switch platforms.
Because like I've been thinking like of just like not really focusing on the forums anymore, and then just really focusing on like getting better instead of wasting my time like trying to further the forum that's like pretty much dead at this point.
Yeah. In fact,
yeah, like as much as like I respect Mark and like everything he's done so far, like I just feel like he's like very like not committed to QBrush. It's kind of like just advertising his like business from it. So
yeah, he's only focused on the how he can make a living from it, which is hard.
yeah.
Which is, I get it, man. And so that's why, but I'm like a big believer in community, and I was trying to find ways, man. I was looking high and low, and then Mike, also aka Brainchild, he was like, have you heard of this thing called Discord? And I was like, no, what is it? Because we were thinking about doing a Slack, and then he's like, no, Slack's gross. Use Discord.
Yeah, Slack is kind of whack.
It's fine, but it is not as good as Discord.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Like I use Slack for my work, and it's fine. It's a way to get a hold of people. But I was trying to tell my boss we should just use Discord for both work and to get access to the community.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And yeah, he was kind of like, nah, but we just got Slack, and I'm like, bro, you gotta adapt or die. In my head, I was thinking that, he's the boss. Whatever he wants is right. This is how it works, as long as it's not unethical. It's not unethical to switch to Discord or stay on Slack. It's just a preference. And so I was like, yeah, that's fine. It's no big deal. I made a high recommendation, and one day we will switch over. I just already kind of know it, but he doesn't want to. It's fine. And so, yeah, for me, Discord's great. And Discord's looking into screen sharing software. And so then that's going to change everything, because then I can probably even have my classes on Discord. You get it?
Yeah.
And so then like I'll just after class, I'm all right, later guys, and I just close the class out, and then you guys just hang out and see what people are up to. It's like the environment you surround yourself in is the environment that will shape who you are, right? So if you're surrounding yourself with like-minded artists and painting often and working with other people, then you're going to just naturally just become a person that just works more. And so that's my goal. Like my goal is to make you guys all badasses as much as possible, right? And the only way to do that is to make you guys keep painting, and the best way to keep you guys painting is to surround you guys with other like-minded people.
Yeah.
Good morning.
What? Who's that? Is that Ahmed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I excommunicated you from the class. Can you please leave, please? Sorry.
Sorry, I missed my alarm.
No, it's all right. You look at it, still talking. I can give you your homework assignment, by the way. It's really simple. Just you had 5 characters total that you needed to. You have done up to this point. You did the 2. They look great. Just finish
Mhm.
5.
That's all?
Yeah, well, finish all 5 of your characters, yes.
Okay. Okay.
And then try to get them 100% done with some color and stuff and everything. But where you were
Okay.
going right now was good. I liked it.
Oh, great. Good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, go back to sleep. You and Natalie and Enoch need to just be roommates and just get a triple decker bunk bed and just take naps all day and paint. Paint and take
Okay.
naps.
All right. See you later.
You don't have to really go.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. All right, cool. Later, guys. Back to napping. All right, so let me space this out. Oh, you know what? I should move these down a little too. You're missing out. We're doing some 3D 360 painting stuff. Yeah, I think that makes sense right there. So let's go ahead. I want to do some changes.
I have a question. How do you make the final image of 360 painting, like
That's
to
it.
move around? Just to put.
That's it. And then you just upload it to Facebook or ArtStation. Done. ArtStation actually has a new tab where you can just update or you can put a 360 image. That simple.
In
Yeah,
which file?
as long as it has a 360 file in the coding of it, it should work. In fact, I think the target that I'm sending it won't be able to do that. So I have a 360 file that all I have to do is put it into that 360 file, right? Like this one right here, for instance. I just got to put it in here and save it as a JPEG even. It doesn't have to be anything, and it just works.
And that 365 is just the grid, yeah?
And that works for Facebook. But for ArtStation, I think you just need a texture that fits the parameters. And I think if you just export it already out of 3D Code, it should just work. It's a 2x1. It has to be 2 in length and then 1 in height. Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. I think that's all you need. We'll test it out right now. We'll see in just a second. So let me go ahead and import this. All right. So I moved them down. I have the new light source in there. Okay, so what I wanted to do is give this guy like a cool antennas, but it would have been hard to potentially concept this in Photoshop, because once you start going to the top of the file,
Yeah.
it starts becoming really warped.
What about 3D in Photoshop?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. It's just not as reliable. It's like super buggy.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of processing RAM power.
I saw Drama. He's doing some amazing stuff there.
Yeah, Jama's
Alien.
yeah, he's amazing. Well, you know, me and Jama, man, I love Jama. Like, me and him have conversations like at least once or twice a month. We'll just call each other and just talk. And he'd be like, yeah, man, like, this new shit I'm doing, oh my gosh. And I'm like, oh, yeah. He'll tell me about it, and this is so cool. He's like, yeah, man, you got to get Oculus. I'm like, oh, dude, right on. Like, him and I, what I love about Jama and me and him was we complain about other people in the industry, like, a lot. And then we talk about, like why a lot of people in the industry don't try shit. And then the ones that do have like cool ideas and thoughts, like, because this 360 stuff, we're not the first people. I believe Ben Proctor was one of the first people who did a lot of this cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
And Jama found out about it, and he's like, why didn't he tell anybody? Like, why isn't he helping people out? And I'm like, just some people just don't want to teach this stuff, right? And he's like, motherfucker, right? He got real mad. No, he wasn't like pissed or anything at Ben Proctor. He understood there's probably reasons why Ben Proctor wanted to not do that kind of stuff, right? But the argument that I'm making is that he's like, me and him love to share this information and try to help people out and educate people. And, you know, even at his work, he said there's like people that he was like, yeah, you got to do this software. And they're just like, yeah, but I don't get it. Yeah, he's like, what? Learn it. And so him and I have very similar sentiments. You know, we're always like, in fact, I have a friend where I was talking to my good friend about like, you know, using mocap, and he he is convinced like, yeah, but you know, you still need to like the technical, you know, the technical limitations and all this, that, and that, and this. It's not that simple and whatever. And actually, I was going to go hang out with them soon, and I was going to have a firm talk with him. He's one of my best friends, and he's been working in his studio for too long because he's tired to talk like people that work in studios. They constantly talk about limitations, and I'm going to tell him, remind him that you understand that those same limitations were always like something that you were told you weren't able to do, and because you didn't listen, you are now one of the best people in this industry that does this thing, right? So, but you just working. He's been working for these people for too long. I think he's forgotten that. You know,
Yeah.
he's kind of become jaded, and I think if I remind him, he'll snap out of it. And I think he understands too, because he sees me do shit, and he's just like, why did you do that? And I'm like, bro, you know how I did this, like an unbelievable amount of studying. You know, like I just got I took my son's Xbox 360 or the Xbox One Connect, and I got an adapter. I'm gonna plug that shit in today and see if I can do mocap in my bedroom.
Yeah, I saw
And
that.
I promise you, I'm gonna figure this shit out. Everyone's gonna be like everybody's gonna be like, hey, you know, that's not really easy. You still need to go to like a studio. I'm like, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I get that you want to have the best equipment possible. But this is like an age-old argument that I just know it's fucking wrong every time, which is the the tools versus skills argument. People
Yeah.
always focus too much on the tools, and they don't pay attention to the skill as much. And I'm not delusional. If you have a much better, if you have a mocap studio and the proper apps and everything, I'm sure it's just plug and go, right?
Yeah.
But if you have technical knowledge that can get you to uh, like showcase your skill, like if you can just get past the technical parts, whatever limitations those are, and just get to the skill, right? Then then you'll shock people every single time. People will be like, "How did you do that?" Like for instance, this whole 3D code stuff that we're doing right now, right? Like
Yeah.
there's nothing technically crazy about what's happening here. It's just a sphere with the normals inverted, so you can paint on the inside like a two-faced. It's a two-sided sphere that's
Yeah.
UV'd perfectly. It's a cube map unwrapping, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a texture. It's just a 2D texture. And people are like, how do you do that? Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, and look, Jama and I weren't the first people to do this, man. Like, this is like basic shit. It's just that we're just the first people to think that maybe this would be useful for concept or illustration, you know?
Yeah.
And then people, well, you need to learn a lot of technical stuff. Yeah, I'm sure. But like, I mean, even if you guys don't have 3D code, I showed you guys, you could do everything in Photoshop, you know? You really
Yeah.
don't need 3D code. 3D code just makes that extra step that was more difficult, right? Like painting in 360 on a 2D plane, that's really hard to do, right? It just makes
Yeah.
that part easier. That's all. That's all it does. It just makes it easier, you know?
Yeah.
And and now people are like, what future? And then drama is like, hey, you know, you can animate in Marmoset. So now I'm making animated concept art, right? A lot of people have been asking me about how I've been doing the game stuff. Like, they're like, are you animating these? Like, are you rigging them? And I'm like, no, I just use Mixamo. I saw that there's automated rigging. And again, I had friends like, well, you still want to do your own key animations and stuff, and there's like cleanup and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure there is. That's not my problem. My problem's or that's not my concern. I'm not concerned if things are challenging. Good luck, man. See you later, Enoch. Yes, I'm not challenged by whether something is difficult or not. I already know things are fucking hard, dude. You know, I'm more challenged to see if there's actual tech that exists at the bare minimum. I was even like as I was waiting for the adapter to come in, which was only like $35, $40. So like if all goes well, then I would have only spent $40 for a mocap studio, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who do not have an Xbox Connect, then it will only be a potentially $150 to $200 investment. You understand? Like if that's really cheap. And then if you follow my tutorials, which I promise you will happen probably within this year sometime once I start mastering this bullshit. Because once I master it, that means I'll know it at a very simple and basic understanding. And that simple and basic understanding is why I sell my Gumroad videos so well. It's because I'm able to explain things in a way that people can replicate almost immediately. Right? But I don't have that sense. It's still very complicated and confusing to me in a lot of ways still. But that's only temporary. And just time will make it go away. But then I'll be like, yeah, you guys, if you just have these tools, you can make any character animation thingy if you want for no more than $600, I think, total. Because you would have to have a 3D software, and the software that I would encourage you guys to get would be just 3D Code, right? But if you really want to go hardcore, super cheap, you can just spend like that $200 and just use Blender. Blender is really awesome too, and I'm starting to learn it because I realized that if I can learn Blender and teach Blender, then I can like truly make people make anything they want for almost no cost. And then I was looking at webcam mocap, and I saw what people were doing, which I thought that was really interesting. Because in Blender, there's a way where you can like on Blender, like you could put like these little like markers on your body, right? You seen the little white balls that
Yeah.
in all mocaps. So you could do the same thing on your own body. Like you get post-it note stickers and post it all over your body, right? And then in Blender, you can like have them pay attention to that specific color in the webcam footage. You understand? And then
Yeah.
it will take that math and then associate it to your character. And I was like, wow, that's freaking crazy. I'm not at that level yet. I'm gonna just see if I can do this Connect one because that seems like the easiest one. Because they use a 3D camera to do it, and the 3D camera does a lot of the work for you. That's what this Connect is. And it's not that expensive. I mean, it's like I know not everybody has like $200 lying around, but like you can save $200 in a year. You know, most of you could. And so if you guys want to try this new world of designing interactive concepts, it's totally in your guys' life. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Export all layer colors. No, I think this is all I need. I'm going to be cautious. I'm going to just say test A. Let's just be a little cautious. Just in case. No, it worked out. Yeah, see how like difficult this would have been to paint on the top?
Yeah.
But since I had 3D Code, I could do it. Yeah. And I could have painted the ground too, but I'm not going to worry about the ground. I'm just going to keep it like this dark room because it's cool. It's scary, and it emulates my my game design that I got going.
And in which file you upload that work on ArtStation?
I'm sorry, which what?
File, like Photoshop file or JPEG or...
You could do a JPEG, I'm assuming. We'll find out in just a second. Give me I'll do it live in front of you guys so you guys can see it. I'm just going to finish this painting though first before I do that. Great. And this was what I was hoping I could do, which is like make this glow in here because it's easier to do it. I was trying to do it in 3D Code, it just wasn't working out. But then I can start using
color dodge time.
Yeah, they have color dodge in 3D Code, but I'd rather do it here because I feel more comfortable. Yeah, so 360 sketch. It's cool. It's a cool idea. So let's see if we could do the uploading now. Why not? Okay. So let's save this out as a JPEG. We'll call it My Children. Cool name, AJ. Cool name. I'll call it My Children. Target. Yeah, that's fine. So we have the target and the JPEG. What the? Okay. All right. So let's go to ArtStation. Let's see what's up. Let's upload. See right here, add 360 panoramic. Go to desktop. Let's do the JPEG. Let's see if it will do the My Children JPEG. Because I believe all you need is a 2x1. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And can we view it? I don't remember if I was able to view the one that I did before. That's fine. Let's just try it. And if it doesn't work, I'll just delete it. My Children. A 360 concept demo I did for class. And it's also going to help me design for a project I'm working on the side. Bitches. I'm just kidding. Digital 2D, yeah. Subject matter, 360. I guess concept art, characters, 3D Code, so people know that we used some of the some sketch software. Photoshop. Great. Use the tags before, and then we'll do 360 painting. Yep. Okay, and then we gotta crop this so it's not weird. We'll do the one that's being hung. Crop it again. Right there. That should be fine. Yeah, that's fine. And then publish. We won't do the Photoshop. We won't do Facebook. We'll do that manually. All right. So now let's go check it out. See if it actually works. Yeah, looks like it's working. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Sense of scale. Woohoo!
Great.
Came out
Yes.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Really
see,
easy.
so what I should have done, because this flattens it, see now I've learned, I needed to paint the ground in perspective. The next time I'll do that. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
Next time. Can't win them all. So it worked. See, it was as simple as that, and that was just the JPEG. But it was a 2x1 format. You understand me?
Yeah.
Meaning that it is the height times 2 for the width. Got it? Or
Yeah.
the width divided by 2. Right? Anyway, so now here's how you know if it works for Facebook. You just grab this, and it should automatically be like 360. You should be able to tell. It tells you, nope. See, so this is not doing it. So then let's try again. Well, let's try the target. I won't even do the target. So remember this 360 page that I had, right?
Yeah, agreed.
So what I got to do is put it into this format that I have on my face or on this template that I made. And it's going to be slightly skewed, and that's fine. I'll type in my children, and then I'm going to save this as a JPEG. I'll call it Facebook. Okay. Now, I forget exactly. I looked at it online, but there's like what you do is you have to like go into the permissions of this or whatever, of the file. Like you have to go at the inner workings of it, and then you just turn this thing on. You understand?
Yeah.
And then it makes it um, a 360. But before I do that, actually, I'm going to see if I can fix that flatness. I'll do the unflatness version. And so go to Textures, Import, Color Map. Let's do my children, Targa. And let's see if I can fix this problem here. Yeah, see, it's like flat, right? So, and let's use like a kind of a, yeah, see, this is what I needed to do. See, something I didn't consider because I don't paint 360 all the time. But it looks flat if it's just like a straight line. That's the problem that I realized after seeing it in 360. See, this is pretty cool. Like when you start to painting 360, now you're starting to see everything in 360. So there should be feet here too, right? For that ground plane. Yeah, see that flattens it like a lot. There's no sense of depth. It should be more circular, elliptical. This shadow or this light spot.
Anthony, is it lagging? Because I don't feel the brushes are really smooth
No,
as
it's
far.
not lagging at all.
Okay.
Like for me, it's not lagging. I mean, perceptually for you, it might be like looking weird. That's just probably go-to meetings.
Yeah.
It's running super smooth. Yeah. Yeah, smooth as butter. Uh-huh. Whoops. Yeah, it's fine. I don't want to get too much into this. Connect these somehow. Paint the ground. Oh man, it's a trip. It's like a trip hitting in 360. Have you guys ever done VR painting?
Tried what's the one for tilt brush?
Yeah.
Try that with the light that works.
So trippy.
Yeah.
It's just as much as a trip as this is.
The one Quill looks really cool for the Oculus.
Quill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Jama's using. He says he loves it. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting the Oculus. It's just so expensive. And as an instructor, it's not practical to teach people how to use it because not everybody is going to have thousands of dollars lying around to just buy a supercomputer to run their softwares. And then on top of that, have, what you call it, thousands of dollars for buying the actual Oculus. You know, before you even can buy the Oculus, you have to have a machine that's even powerful enough.
Mm-hmm.
This is just like all kinds of... Oh, signature. Let's do this. Advertise. Robotpencil.net. Oh, let's see if anyone can find that. All right. So anyway, so let's export this out to my children Targa. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, and then open my children Targa. Update. Ooh, signature.
That's funny how the text came out.
Yeah, and so then let's copy this, and then we have to put it in here, and we gotta make this fit in here, and then let's go ahead and save it under there. And then this can literally be saved as a JPEG. It should work out fine.
Oh, the one for Facebook can be saved as JPEG?
Whoops. Yeah. And it should work. Just to make sure there's no funny business, I'll refresh my Facebook. Grab this, 363. Yep, see? Say something about this 360 photo. And just so you guys have access to this, if you guys want to try this yourself, I'll just save the PSD link.
Ooh, it's a 5K by 10K pixels, right?
I'm just going to give you this specific one that I just used so you can just look at it yourself. It'll be in the... So just save that, and then all you got to do is copy paste your image into that perfectly. Don't change or adjust this actual ratio. It's already there. But you should be able to do it. You should be able to make a 360 painting. Demo for today's class, showing some 360 painting that I learned from Jama and stuff that used the past. Painting in 3D code is a trip. Okay, and then I'm going to post this. Now select that view of your... Oh, that's cool. So I can choose how people are going to view it. Let's start with this one again. Okay, cool. Demo is misspelled. Demo still not a word? Oh, a demo. I guess that's better. I use Grammarly. Powerful. Anyway, post. And now if you guys go to my Facebook, you guys can now experience the glory, which is Robotpencil.net.
In my opinion, it looks better in Facebook than ArtStation. It was doing a really weird stretching in ArtStation.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's fine. Maybe there's adjustments that I could have done that I didn't see. Let's find out. Let's go to ArtStation.
I think it's also because the ArtStation one is widescreen and then Facebook is squared, so you don't see the stretching.
Yeah, I wonder if I can. Yeah, it doesn't. There's no options. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And I'm now spoiled because what Facebook allowed me to do too was allowed me to pick the starting view. I guess if you zoom in a little bit, then it emulates more what Facebook's about.
Oh, that's true. You can zoom in. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, and you can zoom out, which is real warped.
Yeah, zooming in makes it feel, that's really cool.
Like, it's like right there. Crotch shot. Anyway, cool beans. That's it for today, guys. Hope you guys learned something from the demo. It's less Q&A today, more demo. But yeah, I mean, applications for this are obvious. Like the stuff that John showing is for real, like the best practical use of it, like showing the perspective of like the interior of a cockpit. That's hard to convey in a 2D concept, you know? Because if you don't know what it's like to be in the actual seat, right? It's like really hard to kind of concept what it's going to be. But then just environments in general, right? Like like putting these concepts of characters at 360 is kind of like pointless because like I can just look at the character in a 2D plane, like it's fine, right? There's nothing really um, interesting about that in 360. I mean, it's cool, but it's not as interesting or as practical. I guess practical is a better word, as like concepting the environment that, and especially specifically for games, right? Because film too is 2D. Like having a 2D image of how things viewers are going to perceive the movie or the TV show, right? It's still 2D. It's still flat, so you can control that. But in a game, you can't control where the players are going to want to look, right? So concepting for that has always been very difficult because how are you going to concept where players are wanting to go and where they don't want to go? Does it make sense? Um, and so for me, this is like a powerful tool to demonstrate like um, how to concept for an environment in general. Like environment artists should be fucking eating this up. They should be living in this. But I can do stuff here too, obviously. Especially if I'm doing some game development stuff. Let's go to the Facebook one again. I want to see that one again. I'm sure someone liked it already. That's how I find my images. I just look to see if someone liked it. Yeah, 11 people already in it. All right, so let's check it out. And it's cool because it goes off the gyroscope of your phone too, which is great. So like, yeah, it does feel better in Facebook for whatever reason. You're right. Something about it. I can't put my finger on it. Um,
Man, gyroscope and horror, like anything that is horror theme works so well together. I remember seeing a commercial, a commercial for a horror movie, and it was 360 with a gyroscope. It was so freaky.
yeah, this is the game changer part where I can actually paint anywhere. You know,
Yep.
that's what, because before I can only stay on this plane and basically experience no warp, but the fact that I can paint now vertically and or top and bottom is really cool. Yeah, yeah. If you guys have a smartphone that has like a gyroscope in there, go to Facebook, open up this full screen, and then you can stand up and look around that way too. It's fun. Anyway, yeah, animation 360 is gonna be great too. I think Jama's on the top of that. I think he's gonna be putting in 360 videos in here too. Actually, I'm gonna try to beat him to it. I'll beat you to it, Jama. It's a race.
You put some of those idle models in 360. That would be so cool.
Well, that's the thing. Like you can do 360 video on Facebook. So I'm not sure about our station. Probably not. But 360 video for sure. People keep asking me if I know UE4 as if they were hard to find. Everyone knows UE4 at this point. I agree. I mean, it's free too, and they have tons of tutorials. It's like if you don't know anybody, if you don't know how to use it, it doesn't take too long to start learning. Anywho, appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the demonstration. I look forward to your
Anthony?
3D paint, 360 paintings. Yeah, what's up?
Are you gonna upload the recording sometime soon today?
Nope. Deleting every video that I have ever uploaded for you guys since you asked. Just kidding. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna upload it right after.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Well, it has to render first, so after it's done rendering, I'll upload it.
Of course.
Save changes to the desktop. I have so many versions of this. I'm gonna just close all of them out. All right. Yeah, there's no need to save this either because I can just re-upload it. Yeah, it's good. And 3D Cut has autosave, so it seems like it already saved it. Anywho, appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Like I said, take advantage of the Discord. I always say it every class, but it's important. That's why. I don't tell you guys shit to sell you a product. That's not how it works. Like the way that I make my money is based off of the merits of who I am and what I teach. You know, I don't have to worry about being like a hardcore marketing dude. All I have to do is say I have new tutorials. They cost this much. You're welcome to buy them. That's all I have to do because I'm a modest dude. I don't need to make millions and millions of dollars, right? To be happy. I'm already happy with the lifestyle. So when I tell you stuff, I really mean it. I really tell you, like, community is a big deal. Go to Discord, hang out with these people because it's a big deal, you know, like to make friends online or offline and hang out with these types of people often who are like-minded because it will accelerate you in your growth. I promise. Anyway, peace out, y'all. Talk to you guys soon.
Yeah.
And have a good weekend.
Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. Please subscribe to watch more in the future. If you like the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. If you like this content, you can go to my website, robotpencil.net, where you can find mentorships, tutorials, and a Patreon to get more exclusive content. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in my next videos.